The complete works of Swami Vivekananda, Volume 1, Section 4, the lecture delivered in England. Reasons and religion. A sage called Narada went to another sage named Sanat Kumar to learn about truth. And Sanat Kumar inquired what he had studied already. Narada answered that he had studied the Vedas, astronomy, and various other things, yet he had got no satisfaction. Then there was a conversation between them two, in the course of which Sanat Kumar remarked that all this knowledge of Vedas, astronomy, and philosophy was but secondary. Science were but secondary. That which made us realize the Brahman was the superior and the highest knowledge. This idea we find in every religion, and that in which religion always claims to be superior knowledge. Knowledge of the science covers, as it were, only part of our lives, but the knowledge which religion brings to us is eternal, infinite, as the truth it preaches. Claiming this superiority, religions have many times looked down, unfortunately, on all secular knowledge, and not only so, but many times have refused to be justified by the aid of secular knowledge. In the consequence, all the world over there have been fight between secular knowledge and religious knowledge. The one claiming infallible authority has its guide, refusing to listen to anything that secular knowledge has to say on the point. The other with its shining instrument of reason, wanting to cut to pieces everything religion could bring forward. This fight has been, is still, and is still waged in every country. Religions have been again and again defeated and almost exterminated. The worship of goddesses of reason during the French Revolution was not the first manifestation of that phenomena in the history of humanity. It was a reenact, reenactment of what had happened in the ancient times, but in the modern times it has assumed a great proportion. The physical science are better equipped now than formerly and the religions have become less and less equipped. The foundation have been all undermined. The modern man, with whatever he may say in public, knows in the privacy of his heart that he can no more believe. Believing certain things because an organized body of priests tells him to believe. Believing because it is written in certain books. Believing because his people like him to believe. The modern man knows to be impossible for him. There are, of course, a number of people who seem to acquiesce in the so called popular faith, but we also know for certain that they do not think. Their ideas of belief may be better translated as not thinking carelessness. As not thinking carelessness. This fight cannot last much longer without breaking to pieces all the buildings of religion. The question is there a way out? To put it in a more concrete form, is religion to justify itself by the discovery of reason, therefore, which every other science justifies itself? Are the same methods of investigations which we apply to science and knowledge outside to be applied for the science of religion? In my opinion, this must be so. And I am also of opinion that the sooner it is done, the better. If the religion is destroyed by such investigation, it was then all the time useless, unworthy, superstitious, and sooner it goes, the better. I am thoroughly convinced that its destruction would be the best thing that could happen. All that is dross will be taken off, no doubt, and the essential part of religion will emerge triumphant out of this investigation. Not only will it be made scientific, at least as any of the conclusion of the physics or chemistry, but will have great strength because physics and or chemistry has no internal mandate to vouch for its truth, which religion has. People who deny the efficiency of any rationalistic investigation into religion seems to me somewhat to be contradicting themselves. For instance, the Christian claim that his religion is the only true one because it was revealed to so and so. The Mohammedan makes the same claim for his religion. His is the only true one because it was revealed to so and so. But the Christian says to the Mohammedan, certain part of your ethic do not seem to be right. For instance, your book says, my Mohammedan friends, that an infidel may be converted to the religion of Mohammedan by force. And if he will not accept the Mohammedan religions, he may be killed. And entry into heaven. And any Mohammedan who kills such an infidel who will get a sure entry into heaven, whatever may have been his sin and misdeed. The Mohammedans will retort by saying, it is right for me to do so because my book enjoys it. It will be wrong on my part not to do so. The Christian says, but my book does not say so. The Mohammedan replies, I do not know. I am not bound by the authority of your book. My book says, kill all infidels. How do you know which is right and which is wrong? Surely what is written in my book is right, and what is written in the other book or your book is wrong. You also say the same thing, my Christian friend. You say that what Jehovah declared to the Jewish is right to do, and he forbade them to do is wrong. So say I. Allah declare in my book that certain things should be done and that certain things should not be done, and that is all. The test is of right and wrong. In spite of that, the Christian is not satisfied. He insists on the comparison of the morality of the Sermon on the Mount with the morality of Quran. How is that this is to be decided? Certainly not by the books, because the books fighting between themselves cannot be the judges. Decidedly, then we have to admit that there is something more universal than these books, something higher than all the ethical codes that are in the world, something which can judge between the strength of law, inspiration of different nations. Whether we declare it boldly, clearly, or not, it is evident that here we appeal to reason. Now, the question arises, if this light of reason is able to judge between inspiration, and if this light can uphold its standard when the quarrel is between prophet and prophet, if it has the power of understanding anything whatsoever of religion, if it has not, nothing can determine the hopeless fight of books and prophets which has been going on through ages. For it means that all religions are mere lies, hopelessly contradictory, without any constant idea of ethics. The proof of religion depends on the truth of the constitution of man and not on any book. These books are the outgoing, the fact, the effects of the man constitution. Men made these books. We are yet to see that or the book that made man. Reason is equally an effect of that common cause, the constitution of men, where our appeal must be. And yet, as reason alone is directly connected with this constitution, it should be restored to, as long as it follows faithfully the same. What do I mean by reason? I mean what every educated man or woman is waiting to do at the present time, to apply the discoveries of secular knowledge to religion. The first principle of the reasoning is that the particular is explained by the general by the more general, until we come to the universal. For instance, we have the idea of law. If something happens and we believe that it is the effect of such and such a law, we are satisfied. That is an explanation for us. What we mean by that explanation is that it is proved that this one effect which had dissatisfied us is only one particular of general mass of occurrence, which we designate by the word law. When one apple fell, Newton was disturbed, but when he found that all apples fell, it was gravitation, and he was satisfied. This is one principle of human knowledge. I see a particular being, a human being, in the street. I refer them to the bigger concept of man, and I am satisfied. I know he is a man by referring him to the more general. So the particular are to be referred to the general to the more general, and everything at last to the universe. The last concept that we have, the most universal, that of existence. Existence is the most universal concept. We are all human beings, that is to say, each one of us is, as it were, a peculiar part of a general concept humanity. A man and a cat and a dog and all are all animals. That this peculiar example, man or a dog or a cat, are the part of the bigger and more general concept animal. The man and the cat and the dog, the plant and the tree all come under the still more general concept life. Again, all these, all beings, all materials come under the one concept of existence, for we all are in. This explanation merely means referring the particular to the higher concept, finding more of its kind. The mind, as it were, has stored up numerous classes of such generalization. It is, as it were, full of pigeonholes, where all these ideas are grouped together, and whenever we find a new thing, the mind immediately tries to find out its type in one of these pigeonholes. If we find it, we put the new thing in there and are satisfied. And if we are said to have known the thing. This is what is meant by knowledge, and no more. And if we do not find that there in something like it, we are dissatisfied and have to wait until we find a further classification for it, already existing in the mind. Therefore, as I have already pointed out, knowledge is more or less classification. There is something more. A second explanation of knowledge is that the explanation of the thing must come from inside and not from outside. There had been the belief that when a man threw up the stone and it fell, some demon dragged it down. Many occurrences which are really natural phenomena are attributed by people to unnatural beings. That a ghost drags down the stone. What was an explanation that was not in the thing itself? It was an explanation from outside. But the second explanation of gravitation is something in the nature of the stone. The explanation is coming from inside. This tendency you will find throughout the modern thoughts. In one word, what is meant by science is that the explanation of the things are in their own nature, and that no external being or existence are required to explain what is going on in the universe. The chemist never requires demon, ghost, or anything of that sort to explain his phenomena. The physicist never requires any one of these to explain the things he knows, nor does any other scientist. And this is one of the feature of the science which is meant to apply to religion. In this religion are found waiting, and that is why they are crumbling into pieces. Every science wants its explanation from itself or from inside, from the very nature of thing, and the religion are not able to supply this. There is an ancient theory of a personal deity entirely separate from the universe, which has been held from the very earliest time. The argument in favor of this have been repeated again and again, and how it is necessary to have a God entry separate from the universe, and an extra cosmic deity who has created the universe out of his will and is conceived by religion to be its ruler. We find, apart from all these arguments, the Almighty God painting has the all merciful, and at the same time inequalities remain in the world. These things do not concern the philosophers at all, but he says the heart of the thing was wrong. It was an explanation from outside and not from inside. What is the cause of the universe? Sometime something outside of it, some being who is moving this universe. And just as it was found insufficient to explain the phenomena of the falling stone, so this was found insufficient to explain religion. And the religion are falling into pieces because they cannot give a better explanation than that. Another idea connected with this, the manifestation of the same principle that the explanation of everything comes from inside it, is the modern law of evolution. The whole meaning of evolution is simply that the nature of a thing is reproduced, that the effect is not nothing but the cause in another form, that all the potentialities of the effect were present in the cause, that the whole of the creation is but an evolution and not a creation. That is to say every effect is a reproduction of the preceding cause, changed only changed only by the circumstances, and thus it is going on throughout the universe. And we need not go outside the universe to seek the cause of these changes. They are within. It is necessary to seek for any cause outside. This also is breaking down religion. What I mean by breaking down religion is that religion that have held on the idea of the extra cosmic deity, that he is a very great big man and nothing else can no more stand on their feet. They have been pulled down as it were. Can there be a religion satisfying these two principles? I think there can be. In the first place, we have seen that we have to satisfy the principle of generalization. The generalization principle ought to be satisfied along with the principle of evolution. We have to come to an ultimate generalization which not only will be the most universal of all and generalization, but out of which everything else must come. It will be the same nature has the lowest effect, the cause, the highest, the ultimate, the primal cause most must be the same as the lowest and the most distant of its effect. A series of evolution. The Brahman of the Vedan fulfills that condition. Because Brahman is the last generalization to which we can come, it has no attributes but is existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. Existence, we have seen, is a very ultimate generalization which the human mind can come to. Knowledge does not mean the knowledge we have, but the essence of that which is expressed itself in the course of evolution in human being or in other animals has knowledge. The essence of that knowledge is meant, the ultimate fact beyond, if I may be allowed to say so, even consciousness. That is what is meant by knowledge, and what we see in the universe has an essential unit of things. To my mind, if modern science is proving anything again and again, it is this, that we are one, mentally, spiritually, and physically. It is wrong to say we are even physically different. Supposing we are materialistic, for argument's sake, we shall have to come to this, that the whole universe is simply an ocean of matter, of which you and I are like little whirlpools. Masses of matter are coming into each whirlpool, taking the whirlpool form and coming out as matter again. The matter that is in my body may have been in your a few years ago, or in the sun, or may have been the matter in the plants, and so on, in the continuous state of flux. What is meant by your body and my body? It is the oneness of the body. So, with thoughts. It is an ocean of thoughts, one infinite mass, in which your mind and my mind are like whirlpools. Are you not seeing the effect now? How my thoughts are entering into yours and yours into mine. The whole of our lives is one. We are one, even in the thought. Coming to a still further generalization, the essence of matter and thought is their potentiality of spirit. This is the unity from which all have come, and that must essentially be one. We are absolutely one. We are physically one. We are mentally one. And has a spirit, it goes without saying that we are one. If we believe in the spirit at all, this oneness is the fact that is being proved every day by modern science. To proud men, it is told, you are the same as that little worm there. Think not that you are something enormous different from it. You are the same. You have been that in the previous incarnation, and the worm has crawled up to this man state, of which you are so proud. These grand preachings, the oneness of thing, making us one with the everything that exists, is the great lesson to learn. For most of us are very glad to be made one with higher being, but nobody wants to be made one with lower beings. Such is human ignorance that if anyone and anyone's ancestor were men whom society honored, even if they were brutish, if they are robbers, even robbers barons, everyone to us would try to trace our ancestry to them. But if among but if among our ancestors we had poor, honest gentlemen, none of us wants to trace our ancestry to them. But the scales are falling from our eyes. Truth is beginning to manifest itself more and more, and that is a great gain to religion. That is exactly the teaching of Advait, but about which I am lecturing to you. The self is the essence of this universe, the essence of all souls. He is the essence of your own life. Nay, thou art that. You are one with this universe. He who says he is different from others, even by a hair's breadth, immediately becomes miserable. Happiness belongs to him who knows this oneness, who knows he is one with the universe. Thus, we see that the religion of the Vedant can satisfy the demands of the scientific world by referring it to the highest generalization and to the law of evolution, that the explanation of the thing comes from within itself is still more completely satisfied by Vedant. The Brahman, the god of the Vedant, has nothing outside of himself, nothing at all. All this indeed is he. He is in the universe. He is the universe himself. Thou art the man, thou art the woman, thou art the young man, walking in the pride of youth. Thou art the old man, tottering in his steps. He is here. Him we see and feel is him we live and move and have our being. You have that conception in the New Testament. It is that idea, God immanent in the universe, the very essence, the heart, the soul of things. He manifests himself as it were in this universe. You and I are little bits, little points, little channels, little expressions, all living inside of that infinite ocean of existence, knowledge and bliss. The difference between man and man, between angels and men, between man and animal, between animal and plant, between plants and stones is not in kind. Because every one, from the highest angel to the lowest particle of matter, is but an expression of that one infinite ocean, and the difference is only in degree. I am a low manifestation. You may be higher, but in both the material are the same. You and I are both outlets of the same channel, and that is God. As such, your nature is God, and so is mine. You are of the nature of God by your birthright. So am I. You may be the angel of purity, and I may be the blackest of the demon. Neitherless, my birthright is that infinite ocean of existence, knowledge, and bliss. So is yours. You have manifested yourself more today. Wait, I will manifest myself more yet, for I have it all within me. No extraneous explanation is sought, none is asked for. The sum total of this whole universe is God Himself. Is God then matter? No, certainly not. For matter is the God perceived by the five senses, that God has perceived through The intellect is mind, and when the spirit sees, he is seen as spirit. He is not matter, but whatever is real is matter, is he. Whatever is real in this chair is he. For the chair requires two things to make it. Something was outside, which my senses brought to me, and to which my mind contributed something else, and the combination of these two is the chair. That which exists internally, independent of the senses and of the intellect, was the Lord Himself. Upon Him, the senses are painting chairs and tables and rooms, houses, worlds, moons and stars and sun and everything else. How is it then that we all see this same chair, that we are all alike painting these various things on the Lord, on this existence, knowledge, and bliss? It need not be that all paint the same way, but those who paint the same way are on the same plane of existence, and therefore they see one another's paints as well as one another. There may be millions of beings between you and me who do not paint the Lord in the same way, and them and their paintings we do not see. On the other hand, as you all know, the modern physical research are trending more and more to the demonstration that what is real is but the finer, the gross is simply appearance. However, that may be, we have seen that if any theory of religion can stand the test of modern reasoning, it is Advait, Advait philosophy, because it fulfills its two requirements. It is the highest generalization beyond even personality, generalization which is common to every being. A generalization ending in the personal God can never be universal. First of all, to conceive of the personal God, we must say He is all merciful, all good. But this world is the mixed thing, some good, some bad. We cut off what we like and generalize that into the personal God. Just as you say a personal God is this and that, and so you have also to say that he is not this and not that. And you will always find that the idea of personal God has to carry with its a personal devil. That is how we clearly see that the idea of the personal God is not true generalization. We have to go beyond to the impersonalization, in that the universe exists with all its joy and misery. For whatever exists, it has come from the impressions of impersonal. What sort of God can he be to whom we attribute evil and other things? The idea is that both evil and good are different aspects or manifestation of the same thing. The idea that they were two was the very wrong idea from the first, and it has been the cause of the good deal of the misery in this world of ours. The idea that right and wrong are two separate things, cut and dry, independent of each other, that good and evil are two eternally separable and separate things. I should be very glad to see a man who could show me something which is good all the time and something which is bad all the time. And if no one could stand and gravely define some occurrence in this life of ours as good and good alone, and some which is bad and bad alone, that which a good day today may be bad or evil tomorrow, and that which is bad today may be good tomorrow. What is good for me may be bad for you. The conclusion is like every other thing. There is an evolution in good and in evil too. There is something which in its evolution we call in one degree good and in another evil. The storm that kills my friend, I call evil, but that may have saved the lives of hundreds of thousands of people by killing the bacilli in the air. That is good. They call it good, it, but I call it evil. So both good and evil belongs to the relative world, to phenomena. The impersonal God we propose is not a relative God. Therefore, it cannot be said that it is either good or bad, but that it is something beyond, because it is neither good nor bad. Good, however, is the nearer manifestation of all it than evil. What is the effect of accepting such a personal being and impersonal deity? Impersonal being. Okay. What shall we gain? Will religion stand as a factor of human life, our counselor, our helper? What becomes of the desire of human heart to pray for help to some being? That will all remain. The personal God will remain, but on the better basis. He has been strengthened by the impersonal. We have seen that without the impersonal, the personal cannot remain. If you mean to say that the being entirely separate from this universe, who has created this universe just by his will out of nothing, that cannot be proved. Such a state of thing cannot be. But if we understand the idea of impersonal, then the idea of the personal can remain there also. This universe, in its various form, is but the various readings of the same impersonal. When we read it with five senses, we call it material world. If there be a being with more senses than five, he will read it in something else. If one of us gets the electrical sense, he will see the universe as something else again. There are various forms of that some oneness, of which all these various ideas of the world are but various readings, and the personal God is the highest reading that can be attained to of that impersonal by the human intellect, so that the personal God is true as much as this chair is true, as much as this world is true, but no more. It is not absolute true. That is to say, the personal God is that very impersonal God, and therefore it is true, just as I, as a human being, am true and not true at the same time. It is not true that I am what you see I am. You can satisfy yourself on the point. I am not the being that you take me to be. You can satisfy your reasons as to that, because light and various light and various vibrations or conditions of the atmosphere and all sort of motion inside me have contributed to my being looked upon as what am I am by you. If any one of these conditions change, I am different again. You may satisfy yourself by taking a photograph of same man under different conditions of light. So I am what I appear in relation to your senses. And yet, in spite of all these facts, there is an unchangeable something of which all these are different states of existence. The impersonal me, of which thousands of men are different persons. I was a child and I was young. I am getting old. Every day of my life, my body, my thoughts are changing. But in spite of all these changes, the sum total of them constitute a mass, which is the constant quantity. That is the impersonal me, of which all these manifestation form as it were a parts. Similarly, the sum total of this universe is immovable, we know, but everything pertaining of this universe consists of motions. Everything is in the constant state of flux, everything changing and moving. At the same time, we see that the universe as the whole is immovable, because motion is a relative term. I move with regard to the chair, which does not move. There must be at least two to make emotions. If this whole universe is taken as a unit, there is no motion. With regard to what should it move? Thus, the absolute is unchangeable and immovable, and all the movements and changes are only in the phenomenal world, the limited. That whole is impersonal, and within the personal are all the various persons, beginning with the lowest atom up to the God. The personal God, the creator, the ruler of the universe, to whom we pray, before whom we kneel, and so on. Such a personal God can be established with a great deal of reason. Such a personal God is explicable as the highest manifestation of impersonal. You and I are very low manifestation, and the personal God is the highest of which we can conceive. More than you and I before the become the personal God. When the Vedant says you and I are God, it does not mean the personal God. To take an example, out of a mass of clay, a huge elephant of clay is manufactured, and out of the same clay, a little clay mouse is made. Would the clay mouse ever be able to become the clay elephant? But put them both in the water, and they are both clay. As clay, as clay, they are both one. But as mouse and elephant, there will be an eternal difference between them. The infinite, the impersonal, is like the clay in the example. We and the ruler of the universe are one, but has manifested been. Man, we are his eternal slaves, his worshippers. Thus, we see that the personal God remains. Everything else is this relative world remains, and religion is made to stand on the better foundation. Therefore, it is necessary that we first know the impersonal in order to know the personal. As we have seen, the law of reason say the particular is only known through the general. So all these particular from man to God are only known through the impersonal, the highest generalization. Prayers will remain only they will get a better meaning. All those senseless ideas of prayer, the low stages of prayer, which are simply giving words to all sort of silly desires in our mind, perhaps we'll have to go. In all sensible religions, they never allow prayer to God. They allow prayer to gods, all gods. That is quite natural. The Roman Catholics pray to the saints. That is quite good. But to pray to God is senseless. To ask God to give you a breath of air, to send down a shower of rain, to make fruits grow in your garden, and so on is quite unnatural. The saint, however, who were little being like ourselves, may help us. But to pray to the ruler of the universe, prating every little need of ours, and from our childhood sayings, O Lord, I have a headache, let it go, is ridiculous. There have been millions of souls that have died in this world, and they are all here. They have become gods and angels. Let them come to help you. But God, it cannot be. Unto him we must go for higher things. A fool indeed is he who, resting on the banks of the Ganga, digs a little well for water. Fool indeed is he who, living near a mine of diamonds, digs for a bit of crystal. And indeed we shall be fool if we go to the Father of all mercy, Father of all love, for trivial earthly things. Unto him therefore we shall go for light, for strength, for love. But so long as there is weakness and craving for servile dependence is us in us, there will be these little prayers and ideas of the worship of the personal God. But those who are highly advanced do not care for such little help. They have well nigh forgotten all about this seeking things for themselves, wanting things for themselves. The predominant idea in them is not I, but thou, my brother. Those are the fit persons to worship the impersonal God. And what is the worship of the impersonal God? No slavery there. O God, or O Lord, I am nothing. Have mercy on me. You know the old Persian poem translated into English. I came to see my beloved. The door were closed. I knocked and a voice came from inside. Who art thou? I am so and so. The door was not opened. A second time I came and I knocked. I was asked the same question and gave the same answer. The door opened not. I came a third time, and the same question came. I answered, I am thy, my love. I am thy, my love, and the door opened. The worship of impersonal Lord or God is through truth. And what is truth? That I am He. When I say that I am not thou, it is untrue. When I say I am separate from you, it is a lie, a terrible lie. I am one with this universe, born one. It is self evidence to my senses that I am one with this universe. I am one with the air that surrounds me, one with heat, one with light, eternally one with the whole universal being, who is called this universe, who is mistaken for the universe, for it is He and nothing else, the entire subject in the heart who says, I am in every heart, the deathless one, the sleepless one, ever awake, the immortal, whose glory never dies, whose power never fails. I am one with that. This is all the worship of the impersonal, and what is the result? The whole life of a man will be changed. Strength, strength. It is that we want so much in this life, for what we call sin and sorrow have all one cause, and that is our weakness. With weakness comes ignorance, and with ignorance comes misery. It will make us strong, then misery will be laughed at. Then the violence of the will be smiled at, and the furious tiger will reveal behind its tiger nature own by own self. That will be the result. That soul is strong, that has become one with the Lord. None else is strong. In your own Bible, what do you think was the cause of that strength of Jesus of Nazareth? That immense, infinite strength which laughed at traitors and blessed those that were willing to murder him. It was that I and my Father are one. It was that prayer, Father, just as I am one with you, so make them all one with me. That is the worship of the impersonal God. Be one with the universe, be one with Him. And this impersonal God requires no demonstration, no proof. He is nearer to us than even our senses, nearer to us than our own thoughts. It is in and through Him that we see and think. To see anything, I must first see Him. To see that this wall, I first see him and then the wall, and for he is eternal subject, who is seeing whom. He is here in the heart of our hearts, bodies and minds changes, miseries, happiness, good and evil come and go, days and years roll on, life comes and goes, but he dies not. The same voice, I am, is eternal, unchangeable. In him and through him we know everything. In him and through him we see everything. In him and through him we sense, we think, we like, we are. And that I, which we make mistake to be a little I, limited, is not only my I, but yours, and the I of everyone, of animals, of angels, of the lowest of the lower. That I am is the same in the murderer as in the saint, the same in the rich as in the poor, the same in the man and woman, the same in the man as in the animal. From the lowest amoeba to the highest angel, he resides in every soul and eternal declares, I am he, I am he. When we have understood that was eternally present there, when we have learnt this lesson, the whole universe will have expressed this secret. Nature will have given up her secret to us. Nothing more remains to be known. Thus, we find the truth for which all religions search, that all this knowledge of material science is but secondary. That is the only true knowledge which makes us one with this universal God of the universe. That is the only true knowledge which makes us one with this universal God of the universe.